Hello, welcome to this brand new series where I am celebrating 11 years of being a qualified coach. Now, before that, I was doing a lot of strategy, a lot of work with clients, but in a different outfit, essentially. And I didn't know that it was called coaching. I didn't know that there was such a thing called coaching. And when I found it, I remember sitting in that room going, why has nobody told me about this before? Why did nobody mention this at school? It's life-changing. It's full of possibility. And to go back to that time, I went on a free weekend course and I had literally no intention of signing up. I had no intention of being a coach. But then once I'd done the free weekend course, I couldn't not. It felt like it was a great solution. I felt really connected to it, in alignment with it, and it's just opened so many doors. So this mini series is for you if you want some reminders. Maybe you are at the beginning of your journey and you might want to have some points, because there's nothing like qualifying and then going, great, what do I do now then? Where do I start? And again, the internet is busy and it's noisy and it's full of all sorts of things. But equally, in my portfolio career, which I've been having for 25 years, there have often been these moments where I've needed to stop and check in and take stock of what's happening. And sometimes that means actually going back to the basics again, because I think sometimes possibilities and opportunities, it can be really overwhelming. And especially if I've been at a particularly overwhelming time of my life, I've needed to strip it back and go, hang on a minute, what are we doing here? And essentially it's that moment of pulling over in a car journey, looking at the map, going, right, I now know where I'm going. Let's stop this faffing about of guessing what's going on. Let's come up with a plan and make some moves. Which brings me on to the first thing that I want to start with today. This is really boring, and yet it can be the most expansive, creative, exciting thing to do. I urge myself and my clients to make a plan. Whatever that first step is of taking all of your ideas, thoughts, feelings, lists out of your head and putting them somewhere, that is so powerful. And the thing with a plan is that it can be adjusted. And I know so many people don't really like plans. They like that spontaneous nature of figuring it out, feeling into it. And so when I'm talking about a plan, it doesn't necessarily mean everybody else's vision of what a plan might look like. This is about your plan. So it could be something simple as we go into the next month of this month, this is what I'm going to be focusing on. These 3 goals are the things that I would like to be able to tick off by the 31st of May. As simple as that. You don't have to have your 5-year plan. You don't have to work out all of the things. Just break it down. Because there's a beauty in that when you begin to tick things off and feel that sense of progress, you will make more progress. You will start to look for other things. Almost like if you're teaching yourself to cook. There comes a moment where you're like, I'm looking for some new recipes, I'm looking at things, I'm watching YouTube and things like that. But once you cook one dish that your family are like, whoa, mum, that was fantastic, it may encourage you to do more, because once you've done that, you can then enter into other arenas rather than being in this more passive state where you're thinking and hoping and researching and all of that. So make a clear plan, make it really, really simple and doable. And one thing that I often do is I add really simple basic tasks on there. So if I know I've got a really busy day and I know that I'm the one taking the children to school in the morning, I'll write school run or have breakfast or exercise on my to-do list, because they are simple things to do. But I love that by the time I sit down at my desk when I'm back, I've already completed some things. Another thing I want to say before we move on to step number 2 is that Plans are all about being able to be flexible and adjust. And you only know what it's going to take once you take the action. So there is that phrase that things will cost more money and take more time. And for the most part, I do think those things are true. But if you are starting from that blank page, everything's a bit vague, it's really difficult to move forward. So even if you put plans in, like I was mentioning, for the month ahead, even if you put 3 things in and by the end of it, you're like, I only achieved 2 of those things. I didn't even get started on the 3rd thing. I love the fact that you still made progress and you learn so much along the way. So make a plan, check in with it, notice how you are working, notice how you like to work, and then know that you can adjust accordingly. One of my toxic traits is I might write loads of to-do lists. I write these to-do lists like I'm going to be working straight for the next 36 hours, and I might only have 2.5 hours to work. And I'm like, why am I doing that? So I really make it simple. I make it doable. I make it achievable. And I give myself more time than I think that I need. And if I can exceed that time limit, great. But if I can't, I know I've got that space. And when I've got that space, it keeps things calm, it keeps things moving, and I can crack on regardless. Come back for part 2. Do check out some of the offers that I've got for the month coming ahead. They're always in the navigation bar, so you can come on over, check out how I can help you, how I can support you, how I can help you to launch or package or price or deliver your personal brand, whatever your business goals are. And remember, I'm always bearing in mind your life as well. This is about you, your version of your business model, and I would love to support you every step of the way. Lots of love.